Welcome to the podcast, everyone. My name is Nina Kovner. I'm the Chief Awesomeness and Power at Passion Squared and the host of the People, Passion, Purpose podcast. This is a very special and very important episode. I want to talk about some really important things that have happened this week in relation to hair. And I brought the only person I know that can educate us, enlighten us, and have this very important conversation. And that is our friend of Passion Square, Danielle Green of Radically Curly. Danielle, welcome back to the podcast.
Hi. Hi, Passion Squared. Hi, family. Hi, everybody. Hi, Nina. I'm glad to be back.
Thank you so much for jumping. We were talking the night of the Oscars when the Hair Love animated short won
Oh my
the
God.
Oscar, and we were in the DMs, deep in the DMs, and I said, we got to record a podcast.
Yes.
So in this episode, of course, I want to talk about the Hair Love book. I want to talk about the Hair Love animated short. I want to talk about DeAndre Arnold, the high schooler that was removed from walking graduation because he would not cut his dreadlocks. And I want to talk about the Crown Act, which there's currently a petition to pass the Crown Act in all 50 states. And so I want you to educate us, enlighten us, give us some background into all of that stuff. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about the Radically Curly brand.
Well, Nina, it's been a minute that I have been with A School, and I have to say that ever since I joined, I have focused so heavily on my brand because it's really related to all the topics you want to discuss tonight. So, Radically Curly is a brand that I created to allow people to feel beautiful about the fabric of their hair. So one of our mottos is that we rock the fabric of your hair. And our why is trust is the foundation to feeling beautiful. So that's really important in our hair salon. Working with textured hair is that our guests feel that they can trust us with their hair. And the reason for that is, or I should say, how we do that is through our purpose. And our purpose is to heal generations of abuse to natural and naturally curly hair. And most importantly, provide solutions because you can't heal without providing solutions. So, how we do that also is through working with texture, hair coloring, shaping with hair cutting, and we just help people feel beautiful about who they are. And a lot of beauty salons have been segregated throughout most of our history in this industry, but our salon is an inclusive, diverse, and safe space. And we believe that hair is representative of fabric and not skin color. So we see all types of ethnicities and we unite people in our salon. So that's who we are.
I love that. When you say it's so powerful and strong and just kind of heartbreaking when I hear you say generations of abuse. What does that mean?
It's really heartbreaking because for many generations, textured hair and naturally curly hair has been neglected. It has been abused and manipulated by our industry.
It's been weaponized.
Weaponized. And also, we have families that have, or guardians that still take on that mode that, their child or their spouses or their siblings' hair, that there's something wrong with it in its natural state. We are still dealing with that today. I had a whole situation last week with a parent and a little girl, and the little girl ended up breaking down in tears when I educated her on what was going on with her hair and the odor that she was smelling from her scalp. and that it wasn't her fault. And she was this little petite, beautiful Black girl that was mixed, and her mom wasn't. And she had straighter hair, looser hair, and she dropped her daughter off and basically said, "Here, fix it, and I'll be back to pick her up." So, it's like that nowadays.
Mm.
And when she came back to pick her up, she actually laughed at her hair. And her hair was just as beautiful as the little girl in the Hair Love movie. It was big and blossomed and gorgeous. And her mom didn't find it beautiful. And that's in 2020. So we still have issues out there, where people still have issues and it's not okay. But I educated both the daughter and the mother, and let her the mom know that your daughter needs your help. Bringing her here was the first step. Now I need you to help your daughter. And finally I broke through, but it took a lot of conversation with the mom and really trying to look her in the eye, like, your daughter needs your help. This is not funny. Like, she needs your help. So I need you to get in there with her and help her with her hair. So we're doing everything we can, Nina. One story at a time.
Right. Wow. So that takes us to Hair Love and this incredible message, this important message that Matthew Cherry that inspired and created.
Yes.
He's a former NFL wide receiver, which is just it's
Yes.
just that such an incredible story for anyone that watched the Oscars or has been following Hair Love or has the Hair Love book. Written by Matthew Cherry, illustrated by Vashti Harrison. Let's talk a little bit about this story and why it's so important and a great educational tool for all of us to learn the story of Zuri, as Matthew Cherry so beautifully presents this story about Zuri and her hair.
Yes. Matthew saw the importance of seeing. I heard an interview, and he said that he saw the importance of seeing fathers doing their daughter's hair in the most loving and tender way.
Mm.
And it was just brilliant because, in this day and time, Black men are not looked at as loving and tender. We know our Black men, our kings, are being shot down, and shooting each other, unfortunately. But that's a whole nother subject. But this, I believe that it was so important for him to do this because in his industry, in filmmaking, there needs to be representation in animated films. So this message that he's pushing about this story and bringing to light how important it is for Black men to do this for their beautiful daughters, I don't think he realizes how big the message really
Mm.
is. And so when I saw the movie, everyone who I've talked to, because it was sent to me from a client, and I bawled my eyes out. I sent it to Tiara, I sent it to Mimi, and the girls, we were just bawling our eyes out. We just couldn't believe that how well it was put together and how the context of it rang true for what we're doing. And it just it's important. The message is bigger. And another little fun fact is that he started this like a startup. Like
Kickstarter.
he was getting funding
Yeah,
for it,
it was a
and
Kickstarter.
it blew up.
It did.
Like, it just blew up. So,
Yes.
and it blew up because it's needed. It's needed in every industry. Its representation is needed in every way, in every industry, and for Black people. And just the fact that, this was a story about a family and a little girl, I hope that this will open up more doors for more conversations and more examples of what Black love looks like, and self-care, and how to uplift a minority of people, and raise the vibration, because this is what we do, is we help to encourage and uplift people, because a lot of times people feel very, kind of beaten down, and just they're like the little girl I was talking about, just feels like, almost helpless, so you don't really say much, you just kind of keep your head down. And I'm hoping that just this little short will help little girls to, be able to stand tall and proud and rock their crown.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
shame. It's
it
shame.
is.
Saying
It
like that
is.
story that you shared, it's I am bad. Brene Brown says guilt versus shame.
Mm-hmm.
Shame is I am bad. Guilt is I did something bad. And as you so beautifully expressed, that through education, you can say, no, you didn't do anything. You're not bad. You're not bad.
Yeah.
This is what you didn't know. And years now you know it. This is the education. I love the first page of the book where it says, "My name is Zuri, and I have hair that has a mind of its
Of
own.
its own.
It kinks, coils, and curls every which
Which
way.
way?
Daddy tells me it is beautiful. That makes me
Yes.
proud. I love
Mm-hmm.
that my hair lets me be me."
That's right.
And I just love how that's so, to me, aligns with the radically curly message, is you're
Yes.
embracing all texture and teaching your clientele how to embrace and fall in love
Yes.
with their natural texture. The Hair Love animated short film did win the Oscar, and
Yay.
which is so incredible. Matthew Cherry made that with Karen Tolliver. It's
Yes.
such a big moment, and so we're obviously everyone's celebrating and excited, and then all of a sudden, um, there was a petition made by an actual group called the Crown Act, which is a
Mhm.
national alliance comprised of the National League, Western Center, Color of Change, and Dove. And so we're going to be sharing, when we post this podcast, the link to the petition for everyone to sign. But let's talk about the Crown Act. So what is the Crown Act? Let's talk about it.
Well, for me, in very simple terms, it means to make it illegal for people of color to be discriminated against based on the texture and fabric of their hair. So
So
here's
you're
here's
telling us that it's legal currently, except in
3
California
states. Mm-hmm.
and New York
And New Jersey, I think you.
and New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. It
Okay.
is it is legal, and this
It's
goes
legal. Okay, wait.
into
It's legal to do what?
to tell someone that either you cut your locks off, or take your braids down, or do something with your natural texture in order to go to school here, or work here, or
I
like
mean,
DeAndre, he wasn't able to walk for his graduation unless he cut his dreadlocks.
and for those of you that haven't heard the story of DeAndre Arnold, if you followed at all the Hair Love story, you know that Matthew Cherry and Gabby Union and Dwayne Wade and Dove and a group of people got together and invited DeAndre Arnold to the Oscars. So if you followed any of the Oscar coverage, you met DeAndre and his amazing mother. Um, and I know for some people they're going to be like, "What? Like, is that really happening?" But if you pay attention and you're following the news, we saw the wrestler who was abused through a
Yes.
coach literally cutting the child's beautiful locks
Locks.
off.
Yep.
This is, I know it's like unreal, and it's also a reminder that this is so fucking real, right?
Yes, it is. And DeAndre, I loved what I loved about DeAndre is that he handled it so well.
So well.
And the way he spoke about it, I don't know if you saw him on Ellen, but she had him on his show. And of course, the news is reporting that he said that he wasn't going to cut his locks because it's a part of his culture and his heritage. But he said on Ellen, and let me see if I got the quote right, but he said that he wishes the school would be kind of open to other cultures and just at least let us try to tell you some things and don't just shut us out.
Wow.
And I feel like that's really, it's as simple as that. He summed it up so perfectly because this is all that I've been trying to do with the beauty industry is to get those doors open so that people could listen to what our community needs, what our culture needs from us behind the chair. And it's new to everybody. It's new to everybody who has not been working with textured hair in its natural state. Because this has been going on, Nina, for decades.
Yeah.
So it's just right now we have more voices like ours where people are really trying to make sure this change happens, make sure that people are a little bit more educated and they know a little bit more so that they don't end up shaming someone or discriminating against someone. It starts not only at home, but it also starts with our beauty industry, with hairstylists that are, instead of, saying, well, I know of a technique that can maybe make your hair smoother and less kinky, and it's something called this, and it is a chemical, but it will help make your hair. No, no, no. Some of it's mass marketing. It's manufacturers that have, I'm sorry to say, have been opportunists and have taken these chemicals and marketed them to texture. And some people are still to this day recovering from that damage because those chemicals are not made for our hair. They say that they're safe and they say that they're to strengthen the hair strand, but they don't, because what ends up happening is the ball is dropped. After that first service, the ball is dropped, and then that money, your pocket is full, the pocket is deep, and you're thinking, oh, I don't have to see that person again. They're good. And then their hair grows out into their natural texture, starts coming in at the root. And then they have this loose stuff on the ends, and then it just becomes a vicious cycle all over again. So that's why you hear about services in the industry called the big chop, because people are wanting to cut all their hair off and start all over again. And they're wanting to use products that have natural ingredients that are safe for their hair. In our industry, Nina, it's still lacking in that area of education and also providing solutions for the hairstylist. So if you're bringing if you're going to the hair salon to get your hair done by a professional, hoping for help me with my hair, help me with my son or daughter's hair, but yet the professional doesn't know where to begin. All they know is, let me just use this product on you. It's going to soften your hair. It's going to smooth it out. It's going to straighten it a little bit. No, that's not what we need. What we need is for that stylist to be more open to receive the type of education that's needed so that they understand about fabric and what it needs and texture. So that's really my big push.
And that's a lot of what you do at Radically Curly.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is a beautiful thing. So let me share, and again, like I said, I'm going to share when we post this podcast. But to find the petition to help pass the Crown Act in all 50 states, you can go to bit.ly/Crown Act. bit.ly/Crown Crown Act. This is an absolute call to action.
We got to do it.
The fact that in 2020, I mean, again, there's obviously a much bigger discussion around, we understand all the discrimination happening in the world. This needs to end immediately. And this is something that we can actually do immediately.
Yes.
I was just actually reading that Colorado I think it was, they just passed the act in the House and that they're off to their Senate. So, I mean, this is going to move fast. This is going to move fast. I have faith. I know you have faith. We've talked a lot about this. Whoever is listening to this podcast, no matter what you do for a living, no matter where you are in anywhere, please take literally 60 seconds and go to bit.ly/Crown Act, sign the petition, call your local government, call your state governments, talk to your people. Yes. And let's stop discrimination in the workplace and in schools for people of color, for Black people, for people that want to wear their natural protective styles and braided styles.
And just remember what Zuri said in the movie. There's nothing that her hair can't do. So when you get that person in your chair and you're not sure of what to do, just remember that textured hair can do it all. Mm-hmm. And it defies gravity. It's supposed to go up and out. It's not supposed to lay down. So just remember that when these people are coming to you looking for help, encourage them about how beautiful their texture is and that it is a crown. That's why the name of that act is called the Crown Act, because people really need to understand that the roots of this go so deep. And now that we have so many ethnicities coming together and making these beautiful babies, beautiful. And the texture is just going to get more and more beautiful. Hair color that you've never seen on a color swatch before, okay? Beautiful eyes that you've never seen that color of a pupil before. So just remember that these people, they need our help. And plus, your business is going to thrive, because when people find out that you're doing textured and curly hair, you are going to stay booked. Okay. So get your education, start by signing that petition, and start looking for some education online. It's not that hard to find.
Where do you have any that you recommend? And also, where can we find you?
Well, obviously, no, I'm just kidding. RadicallyCurlySalon.com. And all of my social sites are Radically Curly, including YouTube. I do have a curly hair educational channel on YouTube. I just revamped it.
That's awesome.
But our social media, Nina, has become the media. People aren't watching TV anymore like they used to. Mm-hmm. Our generation and younger, social media is where we get our information, and it's so powerful that we push this message. It's so important.
Danielle, thank you.
You're welcome.
As I look at your beautiful natural crown.
Thank you.
Even though the people listening can only hear us, I get to see you, and you are just such a beautiful light. Thank you so much for coming back to the podcast.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your insight and your truth. You are just, your presence is very, very important.
And thank you, Nina.
I love you, and we love you. And thank you to all who listened to this episode, as Danielle shared, and myself. We can make an instant difference. We can make an impact. We can change this archaic, discriminatory, racist these laws. And so please.
And can I say one thing?
Yes.
I know this is going to hit hard for some people, but remember one of Kobe Bryant's quotes. He said, the most important thing to do is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. So if you want to make a change and you want to make something positive happen, do the work. Start with the Crown Act. And you can be great. You can do textured hair. If you have, like my friend Lisa says, if you have two hands, you can do it. So dive deep inside and be great.
Thank you so much, Danielle. And thank you, everyone, for listening. You can find us on the gram at Passion Squared and at passionsquared.net. Thank you so much for listening. Have an awesome day. Bye.